Good evening, once again, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. As always, it is a pleasure. And in today's video, I wanted to bring you another tier list because I think they're a lot of fun, and I hope that you guys enjoy them too. Today, we're taking a look at fast food and fast casual restaurants. Now, I have, of course, not been to all of these restaurants, but we will get to them eventually. I have done the liberty of organizing a little bit, if you notice, so hopefully this should go pretty smoothly. Starting off with A&W. This is a burger chain, mostly. Now, A&W is a restaurant that I did not have much of growing up. They built one recently, a couple of years ago near me. I don't go there all that often. I think it can be a little bit spotty at times. I do love their I don't know if they still have it, but they had this like chili cheese fry thing that was really good for a while. I was a big fan of that. I think B is a pretty solid spot for A&W. Whataburger I've never had, and I don't want to, spoil my where I live too hard, but I've never been that far south. Granted, I don't actually know how north they get, but I know Whataburger is more of like a southern thing. I know they're big in Texas, but I've just never been there. I've never been to Texas, so I've never had Whataburger. Five Guys is an immediate S. I think Five Guys, they are on the spendier side, but I think Five Guys is like one of the best burger places in America that's like in the chain category. Like obviously you go to an actual like bar or a proper restaurant, they're gonna have better stuff. But Five Guys is really, really good, and they're very simple. And I think that's part of what makes them good, because they just do the burger and the fries. And I think at one point they did hot dogs, but I don't know that they do that anymore. But Five Guys is phenomenal. I love Five Guys. I don't go there all that often because they are on the spendier side, but I do love Five Guys. Wendy's, I think Wendy's is in about the same tier as A&W. They can be spotty at times. The Frosties are really good. The French fries are alright. The chicken, I think, at Wendy's is really kind of what carries them. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but I do like the chicken sandwiches a lot at Wendy's, more than their burgers. McDonald's, this might be a controversial take, but I don't like McDonald's all that much. I think as I've gotten older, it's just really started to, I don't know if it's their fault or not. Their fries are still some of the best, right? Like McDonald's French fries, I will, if you offer me McDonald's French fries, I will take them without a moment's hesitation. But if you were like, hey, we're going to McDonald's, I'd be like, well, are you sure? But yeah, I don't think it's the worst stuff out there, but I think just recently it just really hasn't done anything for me. Dairy Queen, I think, is slightly better. I think if you go there and get some ice cream, I think you're in for a good time. But just like their actual food, like their burgers, their chicken. I don't know if they still do the chili cheese dog. The chili cheese dog was like the best thing to get at Wendy's, or not Wendy's. Sorry, at DQ for a very long time. The best thing to get at a DQ was by far the chili cheese dog, but I don't know if they still do that anymore. Shake Shack is awesome. some of you may not have been able to experience a Shake Shack in your life, and for that, I am truly, truly sorry. Shake Shack, again, it can be on the spendier side at times, but Shake Shack is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I love Shake Shack. Their shakes are good, burgers are good. What more do you want? It's good stuff. There's one that's like a smoke shack, I think it's called. I can't remember. I haven't been there in a while. Um, 'Cause, the nearest one is a bit of a ways for me. It's like an hour and a half away. Um, but I do truly love Shake Shack. I might even, go there this weekend or something. I haven't been there in a while, so I would like to have their stuff again, but I do like Shake Shack. This next one might also be a bit of a controversial opinion. Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, I think, are like probably one of the most underrated fast food chains out there. And I think the reason for that is because their fries aren't very good. Like, their fries are pretty mediocre at best, but like their burgers and stuff, it's pretty good. Like, I would easily take a Hardee's burger over Dairy Queen and McDonald's and Wendy's. Like, their chicken especially, I really do like Carl's Jr., Hardee's, whatever, same restaurant. I do like their chicken quite a bit, and I think that is kind of like, in some instances, I do think that is kind of more important for me, because I've noticed that I'm more leaning to the chicken sandwich these days than the American cheeseburger. And I don't know why that is. I don't think it's a health thing, but whatever. Chicken sandwiches for life. I think Carl's Jr. has good chicken sandwiches. I think they have good cheeseburgers. Carl's Jr. is an A tier. Next, Burger King. This I don't think is controversial at all, unless you only eat their onion rings. But Burger King, when I was little, right, 10, 12, 13 years ago, when I was little, Burger King was the spot. Burger King had it going for them back then. I don't know what they did that ruined it. I have no idea. But ever since then, Burger King has been the bottom of the barrel for fast food. If you're driving through like a town in the middle of nowhere, right? You're on a road trip, you're running out of gas, you pull off to a rest stop. Across the street, there's a Burger King. Do you get back in the car and risk your car running out of gas to get to a new rest stop that might have something that isn't a Burger King? I think you do. I think you do in that scenario. I think you risk running out of fuel in the middle of the road, in the middle of a place you have never been, than suffering through a Burger King. In a similar vein, Jack in the Box, I think. Now, I will preface, because this is important. I haven't been to a Jack in the Box in many years. And I don't even really know what's on the menu anymore. But let me tell you, I went to Jack in the Box some years ago. It was my first time at Jack in the Box. I should mention that because I've only been there like 3 times. But I went to a Jack in the Box, okay? I was absolutely incredibly peckish. And I saw on the menu, you could get like 6 mini tacos or whatever it was for like $2. And I was with my parents at the time. And I said to my parents, that is one hell of a deal. I didn't use that language, of course, but I just said, that's a great deal. Get me some mini tacos, save some money. We bought 2 boxes of mini tacos and some other food. But the mini tacos struck out to me because they were quite possibly the most disgusting thing I have ever eaten in a public space. My goodness, they were awful. I can't even begin to describe how worthless they tasted. The taco shell was soggy. The beef was terrible. I feel like it was burnt, maybe. And, maybe this is just the fault of whoever was working there, the unfortunate soul. But I mean, it was just a horror film for me at such a young age. I was betrayed by a lucrative deal into eating these horrible, horrible mini tacos that I will never forgive them for. But that is where I'm putting Jack in the Box. Of course, this is my opinion, so you can disagree with me all you want, but that is where Jack in the Box is. Culver's, I think, is right up there with Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. I think they are underrated. They can be a bit on the spendy side, kind of like Shake Shack and Five Guys, but I think their ice cream or custard or whatever it is, I think is better than Dairy Queen, which is like the main competitor for them on this list. I think their burgers are better than Dairy Queen. I think their burgers are pretty good. Their chicken, I haven't had in a while, but the last time I had a chicken sandwich from Culver's, I really liked it. But they also have a fish sandwich that trumps anybody else's fish sandwich, bar none. It is crazy how much better. And of course, this is all, under the assumption that you like getting fish at a fast food restaurant. I understand if you don't. But Culver's fish sandwich is impeccable. If it's that type of year, well, not type of year, time of year, if it is that time of year where everybody's got their fish sandwich out, get it from Culver's or don't get it at all. That is my personal viewpoint of it. But again, you can argue with me in the comments if you would like. In-N-Out Burger, I have never had. Arby's. Now, this is controversial, but not because I think it's bad. It's how bad do I think it is, right? Arby's is not good. I don't think anyone is going to argue that Arby's is a good restaurant. All right? I used to love it when I was little, and maybe they changed things since then, but every time I go to Arby's, I feel sick afterwards. It is not a pleasant experience. I do love their mozzarella sticks, though, and it's one of the few places where you can actually get mozzarella sticks, so it has that going for it. But other than that, Arby's is not a good time for anybody involved. But is it worse than Burger King? Is it worse than Burger King? I don't think it is. Moving on, Boston Market, haven't been there in a long time. And by long time, I mean I was 7 or 8 years old. I don't know if that's really enough for me to qualify to give it an opinion, but I had a chicken tender basket, I think. It was good. I enjoyed it, but again, I was 7 or 8 years old, so take that one with a grain of salt. I have never been to a Checkers or a Bojangles or a Cane's or a Church's. So we can knock those all right out of the park. I may have been to a Cane's when I was really, really young, in that same age as Boston Market. But I can't actually remember. I know I went to Boston Market, though, because I was a big fan of their color scheme for whatever reason. I thought their restaurant looked really, really cool. But anyways, Chipotle, I think this might be a little bit controversial. I don't think Chipotle is uber good or anything. I don't think it's up here with these guys, but it is definitely better than a lot of the stuff on this list. So I think it gets an A tier, especially because you can be very the customizability is really, really cool, and you can control a lot of things about what you're eating at Chipotle, so that does bump it up quite a bit. But again, I don't think it quite matches up with these guys. KFC, I hate KFC. I'm gonna come right out and say it. I don't think KFC is very good. Again, it's another one of those things where when I was little, I loved getting the Chicken Little meal. If you're my age, you might know what I'm talking about, but they had this little baby itty bitty chicken sandwich with 2 pickles on it. Absolutely loved it. They'd give you a little tiny little cup of mac and cheese. It was fantastic stuff. But as I got older, KFC got worse and worse and worse. And now it's I look at chicken from KFC and something about it just looks wrong. I don't know what it is, but something about it just looks wrong. I don't know. I think KFC is absolutely irredeemably disgusting. So I might even just make a tier just for KFC because I think it's easily the worst. Chick-fil-A. Um, I think Chick-fil-A is all right. Um, I don't think it's the best chicken place, and that might get me crucified. But I mean, Chick-fil-A is fine. It's, every once in a while you can go there and you can have a good time, but it's the same kind of thing with Popeyes for me. I don't think either one really excels at anything, right? Like, you know, uh, but they're fine, right? They're good. I would definitely eat there again, which I I can't say for KFC. I've never been to a Cookout or El Polo Logo. Firehouse Subs. Now, this is where it gets really fun because I love a good sub sandwich. I'm a big fan, big fan of sub sandwiches. So I'm very particular about it, right? You have to have the right bread. The deli meat has to be the right texture, good amount of flavor to it, toasted as well. I'm very particular with my sub sandwiches, and that's why Firehouse Subs is going in C. I think Firehouse Sub is kind of lower on the rankings. It's not as low as one of these others that we'll get to shortly, but yeah, I just couldn't quite get Firehouse Subs. It's not as bad, and I don't see them on here. I could be losing my mind a little bit, but Herbert and Gerbert, I don't even know if they're still around, but that was by far my least favorite, even before this bad boy over here went down the gutter. I didn't like Herberts and Gerberts, but Firehouse Subs is kind of getting to that place. About Jersey Mike's, I think Jersey Mike's is the best sub place that's not like a local deli. Like, obviously you're going to get the best possible, like easily the best possible sandwich at a local deli shop. But Jersey Mike's is really good. Like, Jersey Mike's is like the closest I think you can get to like a good, like a New York deli. And this is absolutely blasphemous, I understand. Okay, it's not actually that close. But if you're like not in New York or the East Coast or Chicago and you want like a quality sub sandwich, Jersey Mike's is as close as you're going to get to an actual proper deli. And not like the deli in the supermarket or anything, like an actual standalone deli. It's hard to do as a chain restaurant, I understand, but I think Jersey Mike's is the closest. Fight me, okay? Fight me. Subway. Do I even need to explain this one? I mean, it might even be down here. I don't think it is because I think it's better than these three, but not by a lot. But I don't think I need to explain that. Quiznos is entirely whatever. I do think it's better than Firehouse Subs, but I don't think it's very good. Jimmy John's. I think Jimmy John's is perfectly fine. Like, you can enjoy Jimmy John's. I wouldn't scold you too much for it. I think Jimmy John's is definitely behind Jersey Mike's, but definitely above some of these others, except for Potbelly. Potbelly, I think, is like in this tier as well. It's better than Jimmy John's. Not quite as good as Jersey Mike's. I wouldn't take it over any of these guys. I wouldn't take it over A&W, but Potbelly is definitely good. So I can't fault you too much if you love Potbelly. Jollibee. I've never been to a Jollibee. Little Caesars. Now, Little Caesars, I think, might be the most contentious fast food place that exists, right? I think Little Caesars is quite easily the most contentious fast food place out of all of them. Like, it's not close. There are some people who absolutely despise Little Caesars, and there are some people who stand by it like their life depends on it, okay? here's where I stand, alright? This is going to blow your minds. I think Little Caesars is very, very good. I think Little Caesars is incredibly good. So much so, in fact, I think it's the best pizza joint on this list. Of the ones I've had, at least. There might be one in here that I don't recognize that I've never been to. But yeah, I think Little Caesars is really good. I could go for a Little Caesars pizza right now. But yeah, that's about it. Papa John's, I think, is definitely second place, and I think it is decently close. So I think I'd put it like right here. Papa John's is not bad pizza. It's could be better, could definitely be worse. Speaking of worse, Domino's has fallen off of a cliff in recent years for me. It's better than it used to be. Don't get me wrong, like 10 years ago, Domino's might have been like the worst fast food chain in America. They were awful. I think it's C tier. It's a bit difficult for me, but like I'd take them over McDonald's, so I think that puts them in C tier. Pizza Hut, absolutely not. I will not eat at Pizza Hut. I haven't been there in so long. Their pizza has gotten so worthless. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't like Pizza Hut anymore. The thing is, though, I would still take it over all three of these. So Sbarro, I haven't been there in a long time, but Sbarro, I don't know. The Sbarro's fine, I guess. It's mostly whatever, right? So C tier seems alright. Long John Silver's. I don't know how Long John Silver's is even in business anymore. If it even is, Long John Silver's, it has to be a money laundering scheme at this point. I don't know anyone who's ever gone there. I only went there because it was the only thing that was nearby, and that was one of the worst mistakes of my life. I'll never get that day back, so I've never been to Moe's. Noodles and Company is immediately S tier. Immediately Noodles and Company is S tier. I don't know who would go to a Noodles and Company, have their noodles, especially the mac and cheese, and go, yeah, I'm never eating here again. Noodles and Company is incredible. Easy as probably the number one on this list. Don't even really need to explain it, I don't think. Panera. Panera 5 years ago might have been an A tier. Panera today? This is tough. This is tough. I think it's like middle of C, bottom of B. So I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B, but I don't feel fantastic about it. Panda Express, I dislike greatly. I'm not a Panda Express fan. I think there are significantly better Chinese food places out there. I don't know if Lian Chin is still hanging around. But why would you ever, right? Why would you ever go to a fast food Chinese place, okay? Support your local businesses, especially if it's Chinese food. Especially if it's Chinese food. You will never have better Chinese food than whatever is local to you. I promise you, it's not close. So, Panda Express, I think, just get it out of here. I don't want to see it. I don't know what this is. I have never been to a Penn Station. I have never been to a Portillo's. Qdoba. Qdoba is entirely whatever. Roy Rogers. Schlotsky's. Sheets. Skyline. Never been to any of these. Now we get into some pretty similar restaurants, I would say. IHOP, Denny's, and Sonic. Sonic is a little bit different than the other two because it's, a drive-in or whatever, but I mean, they're all sort of in the same tier of like fast casual stuff, I think. You might disagree, but I think IHOP is the best of the three, so I will put it right about here. I think mainly because the breakfast is infinitely better than Denny's, I think, is what puts them over the top. Denny's isn't bad, though. I'll put it in the top of C tier. I might even put it behind DQ. I don't think Denny's is bad by any means. Sonic, Sonic, I think, is on the lower end of C tier. Granted, I haven't been there in a while, but I don't think Sonic was all that bad when I was last there. Taco Bell, I used to hate for a long time. I was not a Taco Bell guy, but now I think Taco Bell is getting better. I don't think it's quite in this tier, but I think Taco Bell has definitely gotten better over the years. Um, this is going to be a bit of a run here, where I have just never been to any of these places. White Castle, I think, is garbage, like unadulterated, just pure trash. I don't think it's just not any good. But I don't know. It's White Castle. I don't know how many people have even been to a White Castle. And then the last restaurant here that I've actually tried is Wingstop, and I don't think Wingstop is the worst thing in the world, but it's like kind of in this same tier of like top of C, bottom of B. I think I'll put it in the top of C, and then the rest will all be down here. So that is my official fast food and fast casual tier list. Of course, there are some chains and restaurants that are not on this list. I didn't make the list, but I feel pretty confident with this, and I thank you for watching. I will speak with you all again soon. Goodbye for now.